So I promised you a video on how to use the Philosopher's Index. So that's what I'm going to try to do here in about 10 minutes. So the first thing that you're going to do is to go to the LMU Library's main website. Now, I have it bookmarked in my browser, which I recommend, but the easiest way to find it otherwise is to Google LMU Library. And the landing page will come up as the very first result. And then you see this search bar immediately below the blue button that says catalog. You go there and you insert the term Philosopher's Index, and you can see I do it so often, pretty much daily, that it comes up over and over. It comes up automatically. And then again, the first search result is going to say Philosopher's Index. Now the Philosopher's Index, LMU has to pay a subscription price for that database. So only LMU people can access it. So the first time you go into it, at least on a particular day, it's going to ask you to enter your LMU credentials, your username and your password. Once you do, and hit login, you're in the database. So that's what the Philosopher's Index looks like. So let's say that you're writing on John Locke and the topic of language. So what you're going to do is you're going to just enter Locke's name in the first search field, and then we'll enter language in the second search field and push the screen button search, and we're going to come up with everything that the Philosopher's Index has that is related to Locke and within Locke to language. So that's going to give us articles that only mention both Locke and language. But you see here that we've come up with more than 300 results. Now you could read through all of them to see what's interesting, but there are better ways to narrow down those search results. So the first thing that you're going to do is go down here on the left side to limit to, and you are going to limit it to linked full text articles. What that means is that there'll be a button like this that you can click on in that search result that will actually download the PDF of that article. We also only want academic journals. So we're going to click on that, and that has already reduced us. You can see here from 304 to 56 results. We can reduce it further by using this slider. Let's say that I only want to look at the last 10 years, only at things that are really current. Then I can move that slider in order to get a smaller range. I've now only got 27 articles. Also, something that's really useful here is the fact that each one of these, or most of these, are going to have what's called an abstract, a summary of the article that the reference is mentioning. So you can click on that, you can see the abstract in order to decide whether it's something that you want to download and read or not, and that will save you some time. And you can limit the references that you get to the ones that have an abstract. And the further thing you can do is, so this is coming up with articles in a number of different languages. Now, if you speak Spanish and you find an interesting article in Spanish, go ahead and read it. My spoken Spanish is not great at all, pretty bad, but I can read Spanish philosophy quite fluently. Go ahead and use that article if you find it useful, but just for purposes of argument, I'm going to say let's limit it to English articles. We're going to have fewer, okay? There is yet another way that you can narrow it down. Let's say that I skim over the results and a whole lot of them um, have the word meaning in them, which of course is a subset of the language. But let's say you're dealing with another aspect of language from meaning, and you want to exclude all of those articles that mention meaning. You can type meaning into this third search bar and change the and over here to not. That's called a Boolean operator, but you don't actually need to know that. And there you have to click search again. We've excluded those, and that gets rid of some of the things that we're doing. Now, for some reason, it unchecked a couple of things I had checked before. So I need to recheck them. And then I come up with a smaller number of articles. Once you're there, um, you can, let's say, click on one of the results, and let's say you read the abstract if it has an abstract, and you decide, yes, I want to read that article. Look for the red PDF, red and white PDF icon over there. Open this, and it's going to download the article for you, and that's the full 23-page article that you can put on your desktop or in the cloud, wherever you want to, and work from that. So it's quite simple, but there are ways of getting from those 300 articles down to a 45-minute article. So I want to wish you happy searching. It can be really interesting to read what other people have written about your topic. And you can think of writing your paper as a conversation with the authors of the articles that you choose to read. Now, they're experts, and that's why their articles have been published. But since you have read Locke or whichever author we're talking about, you've read that text for yourself, you are entitled to disagree with anything that they say if it doesn't match the way that you interpret something that Locke has written. You just need to state the reasons why you disagree. Now, if you have difficulties with the Philosopher's Index, you can contact me. But if it's in the middle of the night, for instance, the library even has a chat bar on its homepage. I'll show you that. This is the chat bar on the library's homepage. You can type here. I believe it's staffed 24/7, and you can ask a librarian for help with a particular issue. There's just one more thing I want to show you, and that is that LMU subscribes to a large number of these databases in really every subject area you can think of. And they all work by the same basic principles. So you click here on database list, you will see that there are databases for, let's say, film and television. You've got all of those. There are databases for marketing. All of these databases are relevant to marketing. Choose just another one. Let's say I'll choose chemistry. There are all of those databases where you can look for research materials. Now, you can see that there are a bunch of different databases for most subject areas. Most subject areas are not like philosophy, where there's only a handful of relevant databases depending on what you're researching. So how do you figure out which one of those many databases is relevant to you? You can talk either to a librarian or to a professor in that subject area, and they can help you narrow down which databases you can search in. I hope this video was useful to you. If you have suggestions for how I can improve it, drop me an email, or you can also just put comments on the YouTube site where you found the video.